The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you.
Cats and dogs are everywhere in Canada. In fact, they outnumber children under 14 by a big margin. According to the Canadian Animal Health Institute, there are 16.5 million cats and dogs in Canada. By comparison, Stats Canada for 2021 puts the child population at 15.6% or 6.2 million. In other words, we love our pets. Now, there are a myriad of reasons why people love pets. One is they never grow up and move away. And according to Mindpath Health, pets need you now, next week, and for years from now. They don't ask for much, and you'll never have to pay for their college tuition. That love of pets led two friends in Chilliwack to create Petcurean, a company committed to producing premium food for their pets, your pets as well. The idea took off and sales are soaring, not only because the food is nutritious and delicious, but also because the company is committed to sustainable agricultural practices. I invited Christine Mallier, the sustainability manager at Petcurean, to join me for a conversation that matters about caring for our pets and our planet. Welcome.
Welcome. Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Are you a pet lover?
I am. Absolutely, I am. I have 4 cats at home.
It's amazing how much we love our pets, to the point where I think that I'll look at a lot of people and go, I think your pet has a better diet than you do.
Yes.
How come we're so committed to our pets' health, even above our own?
I know, and we hear that all the time from our consumers. They tell us all the time that half the time they feel like their pets are eating better than they are. And I think, in recent years, or as years have gone by, people really view them as their children. Especially there's a lot of younger folks these days are not having kids, or they're delaying having kids, and instead they have a pet, and they view it as their child, and they're much beloved members of the family.
Boy, are they ever. So when it comes to creating food for pets, it's not just a version of human food, is it?
No.
So what are the considerations that go into making a high quality pet food?
Well, we leave that up to our nutrition team, and you really have to make sure that that dogs and cats are getting the right vitamins and the right minerals and the correct amount of protein. You want to make sure they're not getting too much protein or too much of anything else they don't need, and so we really focus on making nutrient dense food so they get all that they need and nothing that they don't need.
There's this sense that in a lot of pet food that there's a ton of filler. And is that something that Petcurean makes a point of trying to say, that's not where we're going?
No, absolutely. We really do focus on making nutritious food, and like I say, not giving the pets anything that they don't need. We make really nutrient dense food. You'll never find any soy or wheat in our ingredient list. We really make sure that every ingredient that goes into the food has a purpose, and it's serving the pet in a way that the pet's body needs it.
Every ingredient that goes into it is, of course, where sustainability starts to become a part of your ability to continue to produce the same kind of high quality food. So does that mean that you're actually paying attention to, who the farmers are that are growing your products that ultimately become ingredients in your food?
Yes, absolutely, Stu. We take a look at how the ingredients are being produced. Last year, actually, we started rolling out a sustainability questionnaire to all of our ingredient suppliers that they've all completed and sent back to us, because we're asking them, about their sustainability practices in terms of, how they're growing the food or harvesting it and processing it, and how they're treating. It goes beyond the ingredients themselves. How are they treating their employees? We want to make sure that there's no child labor or slave labor in our supply chain. Are they shipping their ingredients by rail if possible, or are they, things going by truck? We're looking at every aspect in our supply chain to make sure we're being as sustainable as possible.
Why is that so important? One, for the quality of the product, but also for the relationship that you have with your own customers and by extension their beloved pets.
Sure. We know that sustainability is a core value for our consumer, and it's been a core value of Petcurean since day one. And like I said, I've been in this role now for 4 years. Petcurean really wanted to double down on its commitment to sustainability, and that's why my sustainability manager role was created. Because we want to make sure we're doing everything better because our consumers expect it. But at the end of the day, our consumers are trusting us to feed their pets. And that's not a responsibility that we take lightly. And so that's why we're really doing our due diligence to make sure that the ingredients that go into the food are absolutely nutritious. We're giving them the best quality possible, while also making sure that we're taking care of the planet at the same time and taking care of the communities, that are behind those ingredients and getting it into the pet food and taking care of our employees. That it's all one big circle that ends up in the dog or cat's bowl.
I got to get you to hang on for a second while we take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you.
Okay, here's a really naive question for me, and I know that when it comes to, let's say, growing corn for human consumption, it's different than when farmers grow corn for cattle feed. Are there different kinds of variants around growing different agricultural products when you're considering making pet food?
Honestly, Stu, it's often the very same ingredient, and it often will come from the same field. It'll be often the difference between the human food and the human ingredient and the pet ingredient is where it's manufactured. It could be coming from the exact same field, but if it's not, if the food isn't processed in a human grade manufacturing facility, then it can't be called human grade, but it may have come from the same farm. But it also may be typically the ingredients or the vegetables that end up on the grocery store shelf are all the really pretty ones. And so the ones that look a little less pretty, they'll be the ones that go into pet food. And so, it's very, pet food in a way is very sustainable because it's taking ingredients,
that might otherwise go to waste.
That would otherwise go to waste. And so it's very much, there's a lot of talk about upcycling, food these days. And I kind of feel, pet food was kind of one of the original upcyclers. It's part of the way pet food is made. And I don't want people to think that, farmers are taking, precious land to grow, peas or something specifically for pet food, because that's not what happens.
Oh, okay.
We're really upcycling those, the ugly fruit.
I know exactly what you're talking
the ugly
about.
vegetables, those are the ones that are going into pet food, so they're not going to waste.
And your cats and dogs love them.
And our cats and dogs love them, and they're just as nutritious and delicious. They just, don't look as pretty sometimes.
So you touched on something interesting there. You said, it's also the quality of the production, the facilities themselves.
Yes.
So you've grown Petcurean from a startup 23 years ago to selling in, more than 32 different countries?
Yeah, 35 countries around the world.
All from production facilities in Canada?
All of our kibble, our dry food, is made at our manufacturing partner in Elmira, Ontario, and then our wet food is made with a manufacturing partner in the U.S.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
And so what is the level of detail that you go around scrutinizing the production process to ensure that you're also meeting those same sustainability goals?
It's a great question. Our manufacturing partners have been with us for years. But we are out there regularly. All of our facilities are certified to the highest standards. They're EU certified, they're BRC certified, because we need to be able to export to the EU, which has some of the highest standards around the world. And so we make sure that our manufacturing partners are meeting those extremely high level certifications, both in Canada and with our partner in the US. But they also sign a sustainability, supplier code of conduct with us that we released, sent out to all of our major suppliers last year, because we want to ensure that our suppliers are having the same levels of sustainability standards that are the same as our values. And so we're checking on, to make sure, across a number of different things, are they energy efficient? What are they doing with their waste? Are they recycling? Are they paying attention to biodiversity? Again, things around their employees. We want to make sure there's no child labor or slave labor in their, in their supply chain and in their facilities. So we're really putting our suppliers through a very rigorous process to make sure they're meeting the standards that we expect.
Because
and they're happy to do it, actually.
Because that's the brand that you want to create.
Absolutely, yes. Petcurean has, over 23 years has become a brand that our customers know and love. Petcurean is our master brand, but then we've got, Go Solutions, Now Fresh, and Summit. Those are our sub brands of our, our different lines of food. And we've got customers who've been with us for 23 years since day one, and adding more customers all the time, because Petcurean really has this reputation for quality, and especially in the last couple of years, we've really grown our reputation in terms of sustainability, because we're doing things and pushing the needle and pushing boundaries in ways that a lot of other premium pet food companies aren't. We really want to be seen as a leader in sustainability.
So one element about pet food that's different than human food is, like you talk about, we got those nice fresh carrots and peas, and they're on display in the supermarket, and I go, yeah, I like the look of that tomato or whatever. Yeah. That's the one I'm going to buy, not the ugly one. Everything for pet food comes packaged. So what is your commitment to producing or using packaging that has the lowest environmental footprint?
Yeah. We're doing a number of things. A year ago, our company made a commitment to switch all of our packaging to recyclable packaging by 2025, because we know that one of the biggest byproducts, I guess you could say, of pet food are the bags, that they come in. And right now, those are, for most companies, they're not recyclable, and they're just going in the garbage in the landfill. And so that's where we saw a really big opportunity to do something about that and to be better. And so we're switching to recyclable bags. Those are going to hit the store shelves this summer, which is really, really exciting. And we were part of the first group of 5 companies to sign what's called the Pet Sustainability Coalition's Packaging Pledge, to commit to transitioning all of our packaging to recyclable by 2025. And so that's something the consumers see. But then on the back end, we're also doing things at our manufacturing plant. Like, we used to shrink wrap like 3.5 pound bags, in bundles of 6 to get those out to the store. And we stopped doing that because that was all single use plastic. And so, we've eliminated that. We bought new equipment at the manufacturing plant to allow us to, seal the bags at a lower temperature. And so that, reduces the amount of energy that's used. And so there's a lot of things that the average consumer probably doesn't think about because they don't see it.
Right.
But those are, ways that we're able to show our commitment to, just doing better and being better. We like to say that we're, pursuing progress, not perfection, because we know we're not perfect, but as long as we're making progress, step by step by step, we're getting better. And we're inspiring other companies to do the same.
This is our second break. We'll be back in a moment.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you.
Well, yeah, you set the lead and they have to follow. What makes the bag so that you're creating recyclable? Because, the whole paper recycling sector it's a complex environment.
Yes.
So for it to go post-consumer, there has to be an awful lot of thought that goes into the construction and the kinds of materials, the inks and everything
Yes.
that are used. Are you paying attention to every single one of those steps?
We are, and that's why it's not something that happens overnight. We made the decision a little over a year ago, about 14 months ago, and that's why you didn't see, 2 months later, the bags on the shelf, because we had to do our due diligence with our packaging suppliers to make sure that the bags were going to be recyclable. And beyond that, to also make sure that they're maintaining the freshness and the quality of the product inside, so that's why, because we don't want to switch over to something and then all of a sudden it's not maintaining the freshness and we destroy our reputation, right?
Exactly. I know. You know what it is that you want to do, but you got to do a fair bit of
You really do.
Careful engineering to
Yes.
to make sure that you are able to deliver
Exactly.
the product.
Because we have to do things like shelf life testing, because we produce the product, one day, but it takes time to get those, products to Europe or to South America, and then you want the product to last for a certain amount of time. And so that's why you've got to do, all these really rigorous tests with the bags before you can switch over. And then even once you do get the bags, like this is the one we're going to use, you're not going to go into a store on Friday and see, the old packaging and then show up on Monday and all of the bags are going to be in recyclable, because that's not sustainable either. Because we've got a big supply of bags on hand.
You got to see it rotate through, yeah.
We've got to see them rotate through, because it wouldn't be sustainable to just dump all of those bags in the garbage. And so that's why, as the bags come up for reorder, then, that bag will switch into a new bag. So you may see on the shelf, recyclable, old packaging, recyclable.
Right.
It's going to take, may take close to a year or 8 months to get all of those through. But we think that's the best way to do it.
Okay, well, that's for dry goods. But you also have, for lack of not knowing the right term, wet products.
Yep.
Like stews.
Yes, exactly.
I looked at them.
Yep.
I looked at a couple of your videos and I went, that looks tasty.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I saw one of the women who was doing a testing going, that looks like something I could eat.
Yes.
So much of the pet food sector has been in cans.
Yes.
What are you doing to help to reduce the use of cans?
We actually, I think it was about 6 years ago now, switched all of our wet food products from cans to Tetra Paks. And, those are fully recyclable. Here in Canada, most communities have curbside recyclability for the Tetra Paks, and they're made from 69% FSC certified paperboard, and so it is a very sustainable product, and very nice and easy. You don't need any lids for them. You open it, they're resealable, and yeah. That was one of our real first forays into making our packaging more recyclable.
Third and final break. We'll be right back.
The production of this program is made possible thanks to the support of the following and viewers like you.
I want to touch on something else that you talked about. You said when you look at some of your suppliers, like as far as products, you're asking them, well, how do you get from your field to our plant that product? Are you throwing it in the back of a pickup truck and driving across the country, or are you doing more bulk or mass transportation?
Yeah.
What can you do to help to reduce the the carbon footprint of transporting from field all the way to the shelf in Europe or southern United States or somewhere else?
Yeah, I think most ingredient suppliers, certainly the ones that we're dealing with, they're already doing the right things. Because it helps with their costs as well. It's cheaper to put something on a train than it is on a truck that's going to go cruising down the highway. And so I think really looking at what the options are, certainly, rail and ship are, they have some of the lowest carbon footprint versus, a transport truck. We make sure that when we are shipping things by truck, because we don't have a train station right outside of our manufacturing plant, so things have to get from the plant to the train station. And so when we are shipping things by truck, you want to make sure you're shipping full truckloads, right? And when things are going from our distribution partners to the retailers, they're making sure that they're shipping full truckloads, and using like I say, rail and ship whenever possible. We would certainly never send any pallets of pet food on an airplane to Europe.
No, I can't imagine that.
No.
So when your customers give you feedback, how important is sustainability in their buying decision? Yes, they go, okay, you're a premium food producer, which is important to us. But how important is that sustainability element of what the company is doing in helping them make their buying decision?
Based on our research, and this is something that we have been asking our consumers for the last, I think, 3-4 years, because we survey our consumers annually. And in the last few years, we started adding some sustainability questions in there, and it's important to them. And we see that actually as an industry in general, when research is done for the pet industry, that sustainability has become increasingly important and more so over the years. And customers are indicating that they are willing to pay more for a product based on its, if it's more sustainable, if they feel like it is doing something better for the environment. And they look beyond, just the environmental practices. And people they hear sustainability and they think environment, and they forget that it also incorporates, there's a social aspect and a governance aspect. And so consumers, they vote with their wallets, and so they're looking. Is this company, doing all the right things from an environmental perspective? But then beyond that, are they supporting their communities? And are they being transparent in what they're doing? And, we find that our consumers are passionate about sustainability, but it goes beyond just an umbrella term. People become, what's more personal to them? Some of them care more about the environment. Some of them care more about supporting, are you doing things to support the community that they're in? Are you being transparent and sharing what you're doing, the good, the bad, and the ugly? But yes, it's absolutely important to our consumers, and we're seeing that level of importance rise year over year.
Well, obviously they're voting with their wallets. 23 years, you start with 2 friends in a kitchen. Just to wrap up here, give me a sense of the scale of the company now. Started from 2 friends in Abbotsford, like I said, in their kitchen, and grew to manufacturing the food in a small plant in Abbotsford. And these days, the company, we're just over 100 employees, and we export to over 35 countries around the world. Where to from here for Petcurean?
Onwards and upwards. We just, we really want to continue being leaders in sustainability, and we're going to continue pushing that envelope and, just doing better and being better in every way that we can.
Well, I love to celebrate BC success stories, especially where we're doing unique things and we're making positive contributions in the sectors that we're in that help to, as I said at the beginning, cherish our parents, our pets, our parents as well, but our planet also.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for coming in and
You're very welcome.
spending time with me today.
Thanks for having me.